There's a reason your back still looks flat. And no, it's not because you're lazy, not because you're not eating enough protein, and definitely not because you're skipping workouts. You're probably training your back just like everyone else does. Rows, pull-downs, maybe even some T-bar or pullovers in the mix. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Some of the most common back exercises are literally sabotaging your progress. I wish someone had told me this earlier. Back in the day, I followed the same cookie-cutter routines everyone was doing. 3 sets of 12, heavy weight, go hard or go home. I thought I was doing everything right, until I saw a photo of myself from the back. Flat, no width, no density, no detail. It was like I'd never even trained. And that picture hit harder than any deadlift ever could. I remember staring at it, wondering what the hell was wrong. Was I not working hard enough? Was it genetics? Was it my diet? Nope. The problem wasn't effort. It was exercise selection. Turns out, a few movements I'd been treating as staples, even some that feel effective, were biomechanically flawed. They were putting my spine at risk, recruiting the wrong muscles, or just weren't delivering the stimulus my back needed to grow. And once I cut them out, game changer. My lats started flaring out. I built that V-taper. I finally saw thickness in the mid-back, and all without adding more volume. Just smarter exercises and better execution. So here's what we're doing in this video. I'm going to show you 3 popular back exercises you should stop doing immediately, why they're holding you back, and, more importantly, what to do instead if you want a back that actually looks trained. I'm not here to sell you magic tricks or trendy hacks. Just real talk, backed by biomechanics, research, and experience in the trenches. And if this is already hitting close to home, hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next might just change the way you train forever. Error 1. Trusting the T-bar row. Let's get this out of the way first. The T-bar row is not the old-school secret weapon you think it is. It looks like it belongs in a gritty, underground gym. Plates stacked, sweat flying, hardcore vibes. But guess what? Looks can be deceiving. This exercise is a biomechanical mess for most lifters. You're bent over, loaded down, trying to keep your spine neutral, elbows aligned, core tight, hips steady, all while pulling heavy weight. That's a coordination test, not a muscle-building movement. And unless you've got elite body awareness and perfect control under load, spoiler, most people don't, your spine is in a dangerous position the entire time. A study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that 67% of people performing T-bar rows had poor lumbar positioning, even after being taught correct form. That's not a small error. That's a pattern of breakdown that leads to disc injuries, nagging lower back pain, and long-term setbacks. But even if we ignore the injury risk, there's another massive red flag. The lat activation in this movement is significantly limited. Why? Because of the awkward angle and restricted range of motion. Your lats can't fully stretch or contract, meaning the stimulus for growth is weak. Electromyography data shows that T-bar rows deliver 23% less activation compared to other row variations that allow for a deeper pull and better lat engagement. So let's put it all together. Poor form under fatigue, weak muscle activation, high spinal stress. That's not hardcore. That's just bad programming. The truth? This is a movement that looks effective, but it's just a flashy decoy. It feels heavy. It burns. But it doesn't deliver where it counts. If you're serious about building a wide, dense, injury-free back, you need to swap this out for smarter horizontal pulls. Ones that actually let you feel the muscle work, not your spine screaming. And the next error? Yeah, it's even worse and way more common. Error 2. Behind the neck pull-down. The shoulder killer in disguise. This one's a trap. On paper, the behind-the-neck pull-down looks like a creative variation, maybe even advanced. But in reality, it's one of the worst decisions you can make for your back and your shoulders. Let's break it down. The idea behind this movement is simple. Pull the bar behind your head. Target your lats from a different angle. Get those hidden gains. But here's the problem. Your shoulders aren't built to move that way. This exercise puts your arms in a forced external rotation with abduction, a position that fights against the natural mechanics of the shoulder joint. Translation? You're grinding through a range of motion that stresses the rotator cuff, stretches the capsule, and pulls your joints into vulnerable territory. Still not convinced? A 2-year study by the American Orthopedic Society for Sports Medicine followed 120 lifters. Those who regularly performed behind-the-neck pull-downs were 3.1 times more likely to develop rotator cuff injuries. That's not a maybe. That's a red flag. And even if we ignore the injury risk, which we shouldn't, this movement still underperforms. Electromyography studies show that lat activation during behind-the-neck pull-downs is 30% lower than the regular front version. You're putting your joints at risk for worse results. That's like paying more for food with less nutrition. On top of that, this variation isolates the lats in a way that neglects the rest of your back. You're not hitting the rhomboids, rear delts, or lower traps effectively, muscles that create depth, structure, and that signature 3D look. Here's the truth. The front lat pull-down, done with proper form, a medium grip, and a strong mind-muscle connection, blows this version out of the water. More activation, better safety, greater hypertrophy. Period. So next time you feel tempted to switch things up with a behind-the-neck variation, remember, this isn't variety. It's just a shortcut to pain with no payoff. And the third mistake? It's sneaky, because it feels like it's helping. But the data says otherwise. Error 3. The pullover. A classic that doesn't deliver. It's old school. It's been around forever. Some call it a chest exercise. Others swear it's for the lats. And because it's been passed down for decades, from golden-era bodybuilders to modern influencers, the pullover has earned this untouchable, mystical status. But here's the cold truth. If your goal is to build your back, the pullover is not the move. Let's start with the basics. What does the lat actually do? Its primary function is shoulder adduction, pulling the arm down and in toward the torso. But the pullover doesn't emphasize that motion. Instead, it works mostly in the sagittal plane, flexing and extending the shoulder joint in a way that favors, you guessed it, the chest, not the back. A study published in the Journal of Sports Science and Medicine found that pectoralis major activation was nearly 3 times higher than that of the lats during the pullover. 3 times! That's not a small difference. That's a misfire. So while you might feel a stretch in your lats, the actual tension is going elsewhere. It's like trying to grow your arms by doing planks. Technically, you're using your arms, but not the way that triggers growth. But here's why this one stings. The pullover is deceptive. It feels good. You get that deep stretch. The movement feels smooth. And for a split second, you believe it's hitting your lats. Until months go by and nothing changes. I've seen lifters cling to this exercise out of nostalgia. Arnold did them. Yeah. And Arnold also trained 6 hours a day, had world-class genetics, and was on a different planet recovery-wise. Context matters. Now, if you really love the pullover, and I mean emotionally attached, Sure, keep it. But move it to your chest day, where it actually supports the goal. And if you're stubborn and want to use it on back day anyway, at least modify it. Use a slight incline. That alone can increase lat activation by up to 18%, according to recent research. Still suboptimal, but less of a waste. Bottom line, the pullover might look cool and old school, but it doesn't belong in a modern back-building routine. There are dozens of better ways to grow a wide, thick, strong back. And that's exactly where we're going next. Because now that you know what to avoid, let me show you the exercises that actually move the needle. The turning point: stop training blind. Now you know. You've seen the truth behind 3 of the most overrated back exercises in the gym. Movements that look intense, feel productive, but quietly drain your progress. Or worse, set you up for injury. But this video isn't just about cutting the fluff. It's about training smarter, more intentionally, with purpose. Because let's face it, most people walk into the gym and train their back like it's a second thought. Random sets, poor form, no real understanding of what the muscles actually need to grow. And the worst part? They stay stuck. Same physique, same weaknesses, same frustration. But not you. Not anymore. Now that you've cleared out the junk, it's time to rebuild. I'm going to show you the 3 back exercises you should prioritize if you want that wide, dense, superhero silhouette. Movements that respect your body's mechanics. That hit the muscle fibers that matter. That actually deliver results. Let's start with the most powerful one of all. Game Changer 1, the front lat pull-down. If I had to rebuild my physique from scratch and could only choose one back exercise, it would be this one, the front lat pull-down. It might look basic, but when it's done with real control, real connection, and real intention, it becomes the single most powerful tool for building a wide, aesthetic, and functional back. We're talking about that V-taper, the wings, the shape that makes you look trained, even in a hoodie. This is where it starts, and the science backs it up. A large-scale study published in the European Journal of Sports Science compared 12 different back movements. The front pull-down with a medium grip had the highest activation of the latissimus dorsi, the muscle responsible for that width everyone's chasing. Not rows, not deadlifts, not even pull-ups. This one. But here's where it gets real. Most people mess this up. You've seen it. Guys leaning halfway back like they're trying to row a boat. Yanking the bar with their arms. Using momentum. Chasing numbers instead of muscle tension. That's not training your back. That's just dragging weight around. To make this exercise work, you need to approach it with precision. Sit upright, chest up, shoulder blades slightly retracted. And when you pull, don't think about your hands. Think about your elbows. Drive them down and in like you're trying to shove them into your back pockets. That's how you shift the tension away from your arms and directly into your lats. Bring the bar to your upper chest or chin. Never lower. Going too far ruins the line of tension. Going too shallow? You miss the contraction entirely. And here's the golden rule most lifters ignore. Control the eccentric. That's the part of the rep where the bar returns to the top. That's where most of the muscle-building magic actually happens. Letting it fly up kills progress. The difference between doing this exercise with intention versus just going through the motions is the difference between staying stuck and finally seeing real back growth. You don't need crazy weight. What you need is connection. Feel every inch of the movement. Focus. Squeeze at the bottom. Control the return. If you're not feeling your lats light up, fix your form before you ever touch a heavier stack. This movement builds width. It builds structure. It sets the tone for everything else in your back routine. And the next movement? That's where we go from wide to thick. From just having wings to building armor. Game Changer 2. The seated cable row. This is where your back starts to look different. Not just trained, sculpted. Not just strong, dense. The seated cable row doesn't just build muscle, it builds presence. Because let's be honest, anyone can get wide. Pull-ups, pull-downs. Anyone can chase that V-shape. But when you turn around and your mid-back has nothing going on, it's like having a frame with no canvas. And that's where this movement comes in. The seated row builds thickness, that visual depth through the center of your back that gives your physique weight, maturity, and texture. It's what makes light hit your back in layers, from the spine out to the lats. It's what separates beginners from seasoned lifters, and it's almost always missing in people who only train vertical pulls. The beauty of this exercise is in its simplicity, but don't let that fool you. It's easy to do wrong, and it's rarely performed with the kind of focus that makes it effective. Most people just grab the handle and pull. Fast, sloppy, using their arms more than anything. No tension, no control, no connection. Then they wonder why their back never grows. Here's how to flip that completely. Start with posture. Sit tall, neutral spine. Chest up like you're being pulled forward by a string in the middle of your chest. That setup alone creates a foundation of tension. From there, forget the hands. Your brain shouldn't even care about the handle. What you should feel is your elbows driving back and your shoulder blades squeezing together, like you're trying to crush a towel between them. And then, the most important part, the return. That slow, deliberate, eccentric phase is where the magic happens. That's where muscle fibers are lengthened under control. That's where real damage, the good kind, is done. If you're letting the weight just pull you forward, you're throwing away half the rep. The science is clear. A study out of the University of Pittsburgh showed that lifters who took 3 seconds on the eccentric phase of their seated rows gained 22% more muscle mass than those who rushed it. That's not a small edge. That's the difference between training and transforming. This movement also gives you options. You can tweak the grip, the handle, even the attachment height, and shift the emphasis to different areas of your back. Closer grip, more lower lats and traps. Wider grip, rear delts, rhomboids, upper back. But the rules stay the same. Chest tall, elbows back, control the negative. And for those training at home or in a less equipped gym, no excuses. You can recreate this exact movement with a low pulley, a simple V-bar, and something to sit on. Same movement pattern, same result. Growth. This is one of those rare exercises that build strength, size, posture, and stability all at once. Do it right, and your back doesn't just grow, it expands in every direction. And now, we go deeper. The next exercise might look humble, even old school, but it holds the power to correct imbalances, maximize contraction, and unlock a level of connection to your back that most lifters never experience. Game Changer 3, the one-arm dumbbell row. This one flies under the radar. It doesn't have the flash of a T-bar. It's not as iconic as a pull-down. But the one-arm dumbbell row might be the most underestimated back builder in your entire program. And I'll be honest, I used to skip it. Thought it was too basic, too beginner. Until I realized what it was actually doing for the lifters who mastered it. This isn't just a back exercise, it's a symmetry builder, a control trainer, a mind-muscle connection amplifier. It forces you to slow down, to isolate, to correct. And that's why it works. Let's start with safety. Unlike most rows where your lower back is under constant stress, the one-arm row gives you a stable base. One hand and one knee on a bench, spine in a neutral position, hips locked in. It protects your lumbar spine while letting you load up safely. But what makes this movement really powerful is its range of motion. You can fully stretch the lat at the bottom, and then pull the elbow way past the body line, something that's nearly impossible with a bar or cable. That full stretch to contraction cycle is exactly what stimulates hypertrophy. And there's research to back that up. Studies show that exercises allowing full range of motion, both lengthening and shortening, produce significantly higher muscle growth than partial reps or restricted movements. In this case, you get both extremes: a deep stretch at the bottom and a hard squeeze at the top. That's muscle-building gold. But here's where this exercise goes next level. Unilateral focus. Each side works independently, which means imbalances don't just get exposed, they get corrected. A study with over 30 competitive rowers showed that adding unilateral dumbbell rows twice per week reduced strength asymmetries by 68% in just 12 weeks. That's huge, not just for physique, but for injury prevention and long-term joint health. Now let's talk execution, because this is where most people get sloppy. It's not just about pulling the dumbbell up, it's about pulling it back toward your hip, not up toward your ribs. That small angle change shifts the load directly into the lats instead of the arms or shoulders. The common mistake? Over-rotating the torso, twisting through the rep, yanking with speed, letting momentum take over. It feels strong, but it's not. It's just robbing your back of the isolation it needs. To get it right, plant your supporting hand and knee firmly. Keep your spine neutral. Control the rep from start to finish. Feel the stretch at the bottom. Drive the elbow back and slightly down, and pause for just half a second at peak contraction before lowering slow. You should feel the contraction in your lower lat, right near the midline of your back. And you should feel nothing in your shoulder. If your shoulder's taking over, your setup or elbow path is off. For serious gains, you don't need to go crazy heavy. Just use a dumbbell that lets you hit 10 to 15 clean reps per side. No swinging, no twisting, just straight up lat domination. And because it's a unilateral movement, you can even alternate sides with no rest between them, keeping the tension high and the workout time efficient. This is your finisher. It sharpens the edges, fixes the weak links, unlocks that next level of control and connection that most people never develop. So now you've got your blueprint: width, thickness, precision. But even with the best exercises in the world, there are 3 hidden mistakes that still ruin most people's results. Hidden mistake 1: letting your arms steal the work. This one's subtle, but devastating. You finish a heavy set of pull-downs or rows. You're breathing hard, muscles are burning, but stop for a second. Where exactly are you feeling that burn? If your answer is, my biceps or my forearms, we've got a problem. See, your arms are designed to assist your back, not take over the movement. But that's exactly what happens to most lifters. They train their back, but they feel their arms over and over again. And then they wonder why their lats aren't growing. The truth is, this isn't about strength. It's about awareness. Your brain is wired to make things easier. And if your arms are stronger or more dominant in movement patterns, they'll hijack the rep without you even noticing. It's like your body is trying to cheat the system, doing the work, just not with the right muscles. And here's where the fix begins. You have to change the way you think about each rep. Instead of pulling with your hands, start driving with your elbows. Visualize your elbows going down or back, not the bar coming toward you. Your hands are just the hooks, nothing more. This small mental shift changes everything. It disconnects your arms from the lead roll and puts your lats back in charge. Most lifters go months, even years, without ever learning this. They keep adding weight, chasing PRs, wondering why their backs look the same. But the moment you make your elbows the driver of the movement, you unlock a level of activation and control that finally forces your back to do the work. And that's when the real gains start. But that's just the beginning. Because the second hidden mistake is one almost everyone makes. And it's quietly killing your progress. Hidden mistake 2. Rushing the negative. You've probably heard the phrase, control the weight. But here's the question. Are you really doing it, or just repeating it? Because when it comes to back training, the eccentric phase, the lowering part, is everything. That's where the tension lives. That's where the fibers stretch. And that's where most of the real muscle damage occurs, the kind that leads to growth. But go to any gym and watch closely. People pull with effort, then let the weight fall back like they're just trying to get to the next rep. That's not training. That's rushing. And it's costing you half the gains in every set. A study published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology found that when lifters emphasize the eccentric, slowing it down, controlling it, fighting the resistance, they gained 32% more muscle mass over 10 weeks compared to those who didn't. Let that sink in. Same number of sets, same exercises, same intensity. The only difference was how they treated the return of the movement. And this matters even more for back training, because your back muscles are large, complex, and often hard to fully engage. They need more than just load. They need time under tension. They need precision. So next time you row, or pull, or do any back movement, slow down. Count in your head. 3 seconds on the way back. Feel the stretch. Own every inch of that range. It'll feel harder, because it is. But that's the point. Less momentum, more control, and way more growth. And the final mistake? It's one most lifters never think about, but it's sabotaging their results week after week. Hidden mistake 3. Putting all your back volume on one day. You wake up on back day, ready to destroy it. You load up your playlist, hit every machine in the gym, go hard for an hour straight. Feels productive, right? But here's the thing. Cramming all your back work into one day might be killing your progress. Muscle growth isn't just about volume. It's about how that volume is distributed, and how fresh you are when you perform it. Most lifters do the same thing. One massive back day per week. 10, 15, even 20 sets. And by the time they hit set 12, they're running on fumes. Form breaks down. Focus disappears. The quality drops hard. Now compare that to a smarter approach. Splitting your volume across 2 sessions. Fewer exercises per workout. More energy for each rep. Better form. And more importantly, 2 separate spikes in protein synthesis across the week instead of 1. A 16-week study followed 70 intermediate lifters. Those who trained back with 16 total weekly sets across 2 sessions gained 41% more hypertrophy than those who did 8 sets, and even outperformed the group doing 24 sets in a single session. More results, less junk volume, better recovery. The sweet spot? 2 days a week, 3 high-quality movements per session, moderate volume, intentional reps, full recovery between workouts. That's how you maximize frequency without burning out. Your back isn't a muscle group you hit once and forget. It's massive, it's complex, and it thrives on consistency. So instead of going all out once, try going all in twice. Your lats, traps, rhomboids, and your long-term results will thank you for it. Now that you've seen what not to do, what to do instead, and how to fix the silent mistakes, you've been showing up. You've been putting in the work. But now, for the first time, you actually know what to stop doing and what to do instead. You've cut out the flashy, ineffective exercises. You've replaced them with smarter, safer, high-impact movements. And you've exposed the hidden mistakes that were quietly holding you back, even when your training felt right. This is the shift, the turning point between just training hard and actually training with purpose. Because results don't come from effort alone. They come from strategy, from intention, from choosing precision over ego, and quality over chaos. So the question is, what are you going to do with this? What's the one thing you're changing in your training after this? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear it. And if this video gave you at least one aha moment, drop a like, hit subscribe, and let's keep building this together. There's a lot of noise out there. But you found signal, and that's a huge win already. Stay sharp, train smart, and I'll see you in the next one.